Hi, hello, how are you? Good morning, happy Monday. We are in week 3 of the magical readathon. It's hot today already, it's like 75 degrees at 8 a.m. But that's okay. I had a little bit of a rough start to the morning. I got up, was sitting on the couch and looking through emails. I typically have a lot the Monday after I've like had a Friday off. So I just sat on the couch reading those, trying to kind of like fully wake up, I guess. And I was like, okay, emails read, gonna get some water and then go properly sit down at my computer. Got my water, turned around, ants all over the sink and trash can. We always have such a problem with this towards the end of summer for some reason. I don't know why. So I deal with that, but now I'm at my desk. I'm ready to work, but I wanted to start this off and update you guys. I'm using this book sleeve currently that says Agliombi Academy, which is from the Raven cycle. I love that series so much. And I got this in an Owl Crate subscription box. It's just a really good like quality. It's super thick. And I am reading Blood and Honey. I am 122 pages in. I only needed to be 89 pages in yesterday. And I was 82 pages in. That's how far I'd gotten while I was reading at Starbucks. And then last night I was like, okay, I just need to read my last 7 pages, but I've read those 7 pages, and then I was halfway through a chapter and I was like, okay, I have to finish the chapter. And then the next chapter was only like 3 pages long, so I was like, it'll be fine if I read that one. And that one ended with like some drama, so I had to read the next one, and that one had a like fight scene in it, so I just ended up going like 40 pages over what I needed to read. But it was really good. I'm listening to the audiobook on Scribed. Also, I did the same thing with Serpent and Dove, and it's really, really good. I really enjoy it. So hopefully that means I'll make good progress and possibly stay ahead. But 122 pages into this, just to recap, I have read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which was for the prompt Rune of Sky. Read a book featuring ghosts/haunted houses or other supernatural elements. All the kids that live in the home have supernatural elements, even Miss Peregrine. The second book I read was Winter House for Obsidian Falls, to read a book that is a mystery or a thriller. And then I finished Witched Haven, which completes the final prompt for the Aurelium Academy arc book with a school setting. So I've read like the last 3 points on the map, and now I'm up like at the top. Blood and Honey fits the prompt for Ashthorn Tree, a book that keeps tempting you, or top of your TBR, and it has definitely been at the top of my TBR since I purchased it, and the 3rd book is out, I think, so might pick that up and read it next month. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying this. It's getting really hot with my hair down, so I am going to go and I will update you guys later. Good morning, happy Tuesday. Y'all, today has been a day already and it's 10:45. I had a meeting this morning that should have realistically been like 15-20 minutes maybe, but was an hour long because apparently self-explanatory like instructions were not enough for some of the people that I work with. The issue is that most of the other women who hold the job that I do are older. They're in their 50s and they're not tech savvy at all, which is unfortunate because we're working from home. So they were just asking a lot of questions and interrupting the girl that was presenting, even though like at the beginning she's like, I'm gonna talk about these 3 things in this order. And then they were like, when are you gonna talk about this? What about this? What do we do with this? And it's like, if you would just let her finish what she had to say, all your questions would be answered. I was just super annoyed, and now I'm in like a grumpy mood. But that's okay. And also this morning I got up and my desk was covered in ants. Just from like crumbs from my lunch yesterday. I was so annoyed. We've been having an ant problem. This happens like every summer. So I spent like the first half hour of my morning, when I should have been working, cleaning off my desk because it was just, it grossed me out so much. So I like sprayed everywhere, wiped it all down, and then used Clorox wipes to wipe it all down again, just because I was like, I don't want to be touching bug spray. But I've got everything sorted now. I did read last night and I hit my goal, and I went over about 15 pages, so I'm on page 207. I needed to be at 192. I hit 192 and it was the end of a chapter, and I was like, this should be good, but I needed to keep going, and I almost just kept going after that. And also, Shelby Maharan, how dare you introduce us to such a sweet character and then kill her off 2 chapters later. I am loving this book so much. It's so good, and these are like the kind of fantasy YA vibes that I crave, like this high intensity magic. And because Reed and Lou are like main characters, are like an enemies to lover relationship, there's still that little bit of like, do you want me to go back to being your enemy? Because you're really annoying me right now. Like, yes, I love you, but I might kill you still. And I just love that about their relationship. And they're struggling with some of their like internal beliefs and like who they are as people, because Lou has magic. So does Reed, but he has spent his entire life disowning magic and believing that it is the source of all evil. And when he finds out that he has magic, it just really throws him for a loop. And now he's basically saying, if I don't practice magic, I'm not a witch. And I just want to be like, honey, that's not how it works, but okay, you do you, whatever makes you feel like you're sane. So it's kind of driving a wedge between him and Lou, because Lou feels like magic is every part of her being, who she is as a person. And if he doesn't like magic and he thinks it's evil, then he must not like her and think that she's evil. And he doesn't, and he says, no, I love you despite you being a witch. And I just feel like you can't compartmentalize. Like, I hate every other witch because of their magic, but I love you, so it'll be okay. I just love them so much, and I am enjoying this book so much, and I definitely want to get into bed a little bit earlier tonight so that I could maybe do a little bit more reading, because I just left off at such a good place. They're basically like going to war. They went to Cosette's aunt's coven, which is the coven that like she should be a part of, that she should be ruling, but she's too young, so her aunt does. And they want to make an alliance with them to go against Lou's mom, Morgane. And at first, Lavoisin, who is Lou's aunt, says no, and then 2 people end up getting killed, and they know that it was Morgane, so that's how she says, fine, you've got your alliance. We're taking her down, and I'm gonna be the one to rip her heart out of her chest and eat it. Which was just such like a badass way to end a chapter, and I really wanted to keep reading, but I could already feel a headache coming on from staying up too late, because it was already 10, and that's not late, but for me it is, especially during the week. So I'm just enjoying the story so much. It's gonna be a 5-star for sure. But I'm gonna get back to work now. It's a busy day, and in an hour I can relax and lay down on the couch, so I will update you guys tomorrow. Hello, happy Thursday. I didn't update yesterday because I just really wasn't feeling it. And today is also another like really long day. It's almost 12 and I've already had like 3 separate meetings. We're just kind of preparing for a lot of different things at my job and trying to make some systems that we have a little bit like more streamlined. And I think I mentioned this, that a lot of the other ladies that hold my same position in other units are much older, so they are not very tech savvy, and they've been reaching out to me a lot over the last few days for help, which I'm more than happy to provide. It's just a lot, like trying to help them and juggle all the other things that I have to do, so I'm pretty tired today. I ended up taking the afternoon off just from like 3 to 5 after one of my big meetings, because I was just so tired, and my boss really like approves of that. Like, he asks me to help him with so many things. He doesn't want me to get overwhelmed, so he encourages that I take like time off if I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I was just really tired yesterday, so I did. Reading wise, I am 435-ish pages into Blood and Honey. I am loving it so much. 451. And I believe that there's like 530 pages total for the whole book. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone where I'm like tracking everything, 532, so I have like 80 pages left to get through today to finish the book. I think I'm gonna do that during lunch, not 100% sure, but it's just, it's so good. I love the relationship between Reed and Lou so friggin' much, and in this book, Lou is definitely sacrificing herself in order to protect her friends, and it's kind of making her magic mess with her mind. And we do get to one point where she harms Coco because like her magic basically tells her to. Like, she doesn't see who it is that she's harming, she just wants to harm basically, and she ends up burning Coco, and that's finally what like triggers her to see that like something's wrong with me, I'm being controlled by my magic and that's not how it should be. And that's what Reed has been telling her for this entire like book basically, and she's been getting really offended by it and like really defensive and saying like, no, you just don't like magic. And he's finally kind of giving in to his magic, and they just had this really sweet like connection moment. And throughout this whole story, they've been hunting Morgane and trying to like prepare for facing her, and I think we're finally getting to that. But there's only 85 pages left and they built it up this entire time, so I just am like, I definitely have to go this weekend and buy the third book so that I can read it at the beginning of October. I am just loving this so much, and all of the like witchy, mysterious vibes for the books that I picked for this entire month are just great. After this, I'm gonna read A Reaper at the Gates, which is also like really magic filled, and I love the characters from that as well. And it's a lot of the same, where it's like Elias is from this really high-ranking academy where he's an officer, and Laia has magic, I think. I read the first two books a really long time ago. And so they're like sworn enemies, but they fall in love with each other, and it's just such a great trope. It's so good. Good morning. Happy Friday. It's 8:41 and I am grumpy as hell already. So first of all, the last clip ended super abruptly because my battery died, and I put it to charge and I was like, I'm gonna come back to it, finish off the clip, and I never did, and it's a new day. So I get up this morning and I go into the kitchen and I get ready to feed Marcy, because that's the first thing that I do every morning. I feed her. Well, I pee and then I feed her. And I was like, oh, she has food in her bowl already. It was left over from last night. Sometimes we bring it in if it's too late and she still hasn't eaten, so that maybe while she's inside she will eat. And I look closer and there are ants all over her food and a trail across the carpet and into the kitchen. So I have to deal with that, spray it all down, throw out her food. Can't throw it just outside, sometimes that's what we do, but I had sprayed it down with ant spray, so couldn't throw it outside because it's possible she might eat it, or a cat would get into the backyard and eat it and then die. So I threw it away in our trash can in like a bag, and I threw that out. And then I went to go get ice, and my boyfriend does this really fun thing where he uses all of the ice cubes in the tray but 2. All but 2 is perfect for his hydro, so he just leaves those 2 in there and then puts the tray back. And I don't understand that, and I feel like it's just so lazy. Like, just use those 2 or pop them out and put them in like a Tupperware container and stick that in the freezer. That way the next time you go you can grab those 2 as well. Like, why just leave 2? It's so frustrating and makes me, I was already grumpy from the ice, or from the ants, and then the ice just, I don't know, I don't understand men. I don't understand men. But I'm working today. It's already been such a long morning. The last 2 days have just been so long. I thankfully do not have any meetings today. I'm just gonna take it slow, do some transfers, clear some memos, and just relax. I did my nails yesterday though. I got these nail wraps from Roxy Nails on Etsy. They are super cute. They are just nail wraps. You just stick them on basically and then put a top coat on, and I just really enjoyed them. And of course, right before I was getting ready to do them, one of my nails broke. So they're all on, but this one, it's just a symbol for this whole week. I did, however, finish Blood and Honey last night. I gave it a 5 stars. Oh my goodness, the ending. I might have to go buy Gods and Monsters today, and I was thinking about switching it out with Igniting Darkness, but I really should read that. I think the 3rd book in that series is also out, and so maybe I'll make God and Monsters the first book on my TBR for next month. But spoilers, if you do not want to be spoiled for the ending, she killed Ansel. Morgan kills Ansel. Shelby, the author, killed off Ansel, and he was just such a sweet character who kept up his optimism no matter what sort of situation that their whole crew was in, and he truly just wanted to help and be a part of their group and contribute. And even though he didn't have any magic, he wanted to learn how to fight. He wanted to be able to protect himself. He didn't want to be a liability. And in the end, he comes and he saves Lou and helps her and helps Seely. And then it just, right before Morgan is leaving, she's been forbidden by the gods, by her goddess, from harming Lou. And so she says that while she cannot harm her, the game is still on. And then she sticks a knife in the back of Ansel's head and flees. And I was just reeling last night. I could not believe that that happened right at the end of the book. There's literally like 5 or 6 pages left. And then La Voisin, Cosette's aunt, turns out to be in league with Morgan and has been the reason why Morgan has known where Lou was this entire time and like what their plan of action was. And she gives her this like drink, and I think she puts Nicolina, her like sidekick crony girl, into Lou's body, and Reed instantly notices that something's wrong because she's smiling, and he's like, she hasn't smiled since. And then Nicolina as Lou kisses him, and that's where it ends. So I'm like, okay, so Reed knew that something was wrong instantly. So I'm hoping that that means she's not taken over for like the entire 3rd book, but I really don't know. It was just so good. It was so good. So I'm going to pick up A Reaper at the Gates next, the 3rd book by Sabaa Tahir. That is also along the same lines of this, the same sort of like enemies to lovers, and I am just really looking forward to it and so happy with my reading progress. That's 4 books down. 4. And it's the 17th. Normally I'm finishing my 4th, sometimes just my 3rd book at the end of the month. So this strategy of a certain amount of pages every single day is working for me so well, and I know I've talked about it so much, but just the amount of reading that I've gotten done makes my heart so happy. But it might take a hit because I had listed some blankets on Etsy after I made some for my aunts and a couple friends for Christmas last year, and somebody purchased one. So I have to go to Michael's during lunch and get all the yarn for that and start on it today. But I think Igniting Darkness has an audiobook, so I can listen to that and kind of like keep the book open next to me to tab and knit at the same time. Yeah, I think that's the plan. I'm gonna get back to work now, and I will talk to you guys later. Hello, it's Saturday. I didn't do any reading yesterday. I was supposed to have started A Reaper at the Gates, and I didn't because I had a really rough end of my day yesterday. I took Marcy to the dog park. She really needed it. I went by myself because my boyfriend had just gotten home from work, and I go by myself all the time, which was evidently a mistake this time. When I got there, there were only 2 other dogs in the like large dog park, and then this man that I've seen there before was on the small dog section, and he brought his dogs over to the big dog section, and they are large. And then this other couple showed up with their huskies who they like professionally train, I think. I've spoken to them a few times before. They come to work on their dogs like commands while there's a lot going on, to like teach their dogs to kind of focus when it's really busy. And everything was mostly fine until, I don't know, like 10 minutes later. All the dogs were kind of like snapping at each other and growling and running around, and my dog ended up getting into a fight with the gentleman's dog. Her name was Cameron Diaz. I've heard him say it several times before. And several of the people had told me that his dogs get into it all the time with other dogs. So I know it wasn't Marcy's fault, but she is a street dog. When we adopted her, she'd been a stray before that. She has a scar on her nose that we're pretty sure is from her fighting another dog. So she's a scrapper. She's really, really patient until you push her buttons, and then she snaps. And her and that other dog really, really got into it badly. They were like rolling. I saw Marcy like bite the other dog's neck. The couple that had shown up with their dogs, the wife like reached in and pulled Marcy out, which was crazy. I would never do something like that. And I took Marcy from her, and we went over to sit back down on the bench to try to like keep some distance, calm her down. And we noticed that the guy's dog was bleeding. Marcy had gotten her really, really badly on the neck, and the dog was bleeding really, really badly. And I just didn't know what to do. I was just sitting there. I was like, I don't know if I should go over there, if he even wanted me around his dog. I apologized. I texted Skylar and I let him know Marcy just bit another dog, and he called me and I was like, yeah, I need you to come over here right now. And then the owner turned towards me. There was like a ton of people there, so they were all watching. The owner kept looking at me and like glaring at me, and the couple was helping him. They like got a towel from their car and were applying pressure and looking at vets to try to find a place to take the dog. We have like several emergency clinics that are open at night. And then he turned towards me. I mean, he was like screaming like, fuck, she's gonna die. And I obviously felt extremely, extremely bad. Nothing like that has ever happened. And so I was digging through my purse trying to find a pen and like a receipt. I always have stuff like that in my purse to write my info down. And he turned towards me and was like, you're coming with us to the hospital. You better get your fucking credit card out to pay for this, or I'm gonna make it my mission to hunt you down. And that just like shocked me so much. And that's when more people from the other, like, it's the small dog and the little dog, and they're just cut off by a fence. More people started coming over to see what was going on. And then they just picked up the dog and left. And so the owner went with the guy's wife in his truck, and then the husband from that couple came back to pick up their dog and like take it to their truck and go follow them. And I was going to give him my phone number, and then he got into it with a bunch of other people, and they were like screaming at each other, and he was like threatening this Mexican guy, saying like, I want your parole officer's number, I want your parole officer's number, are you ready to go back to jail? Which was like super racist. The guy was like, I'm Mexican, but I don't have a parole officer. And it was just so much, all in like the span of 10 minutes. And Skylar showed up right as that guy was leaving and was like super heated and was like, who was threatening you? Because I had texted him that, and I was like, this guy is threatening me, I don't know what to do. And it was just such a wild night. And now I'm like, do we just never go back to that dog park? Like, I don't want that guy to think I don't care about his dog, but he just terrified me so much that I'm like still shaky about it and tired and trying to figure out like what to do today. If I just want to stay in bed, or if I should go out and do things and like try to keep myself busy. I still have like $90 in gift cards to Barnes & Noble from my birthday, and a $25 gift card to Old Navy. So I'm like, should I go get some books, some PJs, some lunch, and then come home? I don't know. It was just such like, nothing like that has ever happened to me, and I feel incredibly bad. But I don't know the owner, so I don't know how to reach out to him other than to like wait a couple of weeks and go back to the dog park and see if he's there, hope his dog's alive. I don't know. I just, like I said, nothing like that has ever happened to me, and it was an accident. It's not like I went there hoping Marcy was gonna fight a dog, or that Marcy is vicious like everybody was saying. Like, no, we've seen you here before, she seems really sweet, like she was just sitting with me perfectly fine. And I got a couple girls' phone numbers because they were all saying like, no, his dogs cause problems all the time and he just squirts them with a water bottle. So I was like, can I have your phone numbers in case he does anything legal? That way I have people who were here and can say like, no, we don't think it was her dog, it was his dog. His dogs always cause problems. So it was just so wild, and I really don't know what to do with myself today. I don't like the idea of just spending all day in bed and being like anxious and letting it ruin my day. But I'm also a little bit terrified of being outside of the house and possibly running into him because he's at the dog park all the time, which means he must live in the area. So I just don't know what to do, and this might put my reading progress back a little bit. I mean, I've already read the 2 books that I need to complete the challenge, but we'll see. I will most likely update you guys tomorrow and let you know what happened, what I decided to do today, and if I've done any reading. So hello, I am back and in the new PJs that I bought. It's just this like plain black top and these joggers. They're so comfortable, so soft, and I'm definitely going to be living in them for the next few days. I also just washed my bangs, which is why they look so like floofy and nice. But I wanted to show you the books I bought at Barnes & Noble. So my total was $112. It went down to $101 when I put in my membership number, and then with the gift cards that I have, I paid $8.60, which was amazing. Definitely made me feel a lot better, not about the dog getting hurt, but about being yelled at. I also did drive by 3 emergency vets in my neighborhood to try and see if I could see the owner or the couple that went with him. I knew I probably wasn't going to, but I was like, on the off chance that I can see him and speak to him possibly, but that was probably a really bad idea, and it's good that I didn't see him. But let me show you the books that I bought. So when I put the books down on the shelf, the guy like gave me a weird look, and I basically like yelled at him. I was like, I had a bad day yesterday, which was super embarrassing. But the first book is Poison for Breakfast by Lemony Snicket. He is the author of the series of unfortunate events, and it's also, I think, along the same like, or in the same universe. If you watch the TV show, I think he does mention something about poison for breakfast. So this is, I believe, from the perspective of Lemony Snicket, who is not the, it's like the author's pen name, but it's a character in the series, so it's like that character is writing these books. So that's the first one I got. It is super tiny, but I think it will be about the same size as the middle grade books, so I'm gonna definitely put this with that. Next is Hollow City in the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. It's the second novel. I loved the first one. Super sad that they didn't continue making these books, but I picked this up and I definitely want to finish on. I think there are 6 books in this series. The most recent one just came out and it's still in hardback, so hopefully by the time I get to that, it will be in paperback. Next is, it's upside down, Gods and Monsters by Shelley Maharin. I just finished Blood and Honey. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved Serpent and Dove, and I just could not buy this, and these covers are absolutely gorgeous. This is going to be the top of my TBR for October. Book 4 is The Corpse Queen by Heather Herman. Frolic through fiction, I believe. I will put the appropriate YouTube right here. Did a spooky like fall vibes book video just a couple days ago, and I wrote down a bunch of the books that she recommended, and this was one of them, and it just sounded really good. It's about this girl, I think, that goes to go live with her aunt who is super rich, and her aunt says that she can stay there and have whatever she wants, but she has to be a grave robber, which I just thought was really interesting, and I'm looking forward to all the spooky vibes in October. Book 5 is The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. I have heard so many good things about this. I guess witches peak in their power during the season that they are like connected to, which I just read a story similar to that, Seasons of the Storm, but it was much different. They weren't witches, and I just really liked that sort of like storyline, so I'm really excited for this and more witch books. And the last book that I picked up was the Atlas 6. I believe it's about a secret society, the Alexandrian Society. Caretakers of lost knowledge from the greatest civilizations of antiquity are the foremost secret society of magical academicians in the world. This was also a book that was recommended in that video that I watched, and it just sounded super, super good, so I picked it up. And those are all the books that I've purchased. I'm going to do a little bit of knitting now. Like I mentioned, somebody purchased one of the blankets that I had listed on Etsy. I've picked up all the yarn, so I want to start. The first few rows are always the most difficult. The yarn tends to slip off a lot, and just kind of like getting the pattern down. So I want to get that out of the way, and then I will definitely read, and hopefully read my like 70 pages from yesterday and my 104 pages from today to be all caught up. So I'm feeling better. I'm feeling much less anxious, and I will update you guys most likely tomorrow. Hello, it is Sunday. I haven't done any reading. I read like 80 pages yesterday, which was what I should have read the day before that on Friday. Today I'm supposed to have read 208 pages, but I don't really see that happening. I am in bed now. I'm going to start reading and see how far I can get, but I'm behind. I was doing the math the other day, and I should be finishing on the 29th, so that gives me an extra day. So if I just do 104 pages today and keep continuing on like that, I should just finish on the 30th. But it's been a really rough week. It was a really rough like work week with so many things going on. Friday was really rough. I've had such bad anxiety the last couple of days. I just feel like there's something more that I should be doing about the situation, but there isn't really anything I can do unless that guy finds a way to reach out to me. I've been like obsessively checking Facebook, looking at like any posts that anybody might have made, to the like police department, to the Redlands dog park thing, to any of the vet clinics. Just, I mean, if you type in like Redlands dog park, anytime anybody's like mentioned it in a post or tagged that location, it comes up. So I've been looking at stuff like that just to see if maybe he posted about what happened there, and then I could contact him or at least know if the dog's okay. And sleeping like shit, absolute shit. It takes me so long to fall asleep because I can't do anything but picture him like yelling at me and his dog laying on the ground bleeding, and I just feel so incredibly bad. I had to take medication last night to help me fall asleep. I have 2 different anxiety medications, one that's like a daily one and one that's an as needed, and I take that one at night most of the time because it really knocks me out. So finally around like 12:30 last night I ended up taking that because I just couldn't fall asleep, and that helped. But I woke up like 3 or 4 times. I was like dreaming about running into him at places. It's just been super rough, and I wish that I could take tomorrow off, but our audit is due to Medicaid waiver tomorrow, so unfortunately I can't take tomorrow off, which sucks. But it's okay. I've done my knitting. I finished like the first section. I'm going to remove one of the dark purples and add in a slightly lighter purple. And I'm gonna start reading. I really hope that next week is better, and that hopefully my like anxiety will subside and I will start to feel better. So I'm going to go for now. 4 books down for the readathon, in the middle of the 5th one, which is amazing. Yeah, fingers crossed next week is better. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, let me know if you're participating in the readathon, how far along you are, if you've completed your 2 challenges to make it to the Brillium Academy, and how you're doing. How is that mental health? Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!